What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on one of the best budget knives of 2023. This is the Vosteed Nightshade TH. Vosteed has been kind of killing it recently, in my opinion. I've had some of their other knives in on loan, more recently the Valkyrie and the Labrador. But they really are killing it in sort of that $50 to $100 price point of the knife world. And I've also had their raccoon button lock in, probably the best budget button lock you can buy. And now I have a full review on this beautiful knife to do for you guys. And spoiler alert, it's really good. I like it a lot. Just fantastic all around. For the price point, I really don't think you can beat Vosteed, in these times. Civivi kind of used to be in that realm, in that, undisputed king, but I really think Vosteed has been killing it for like the past year. And this is, and so far it's probably my favorite model. The raccoon is up there pretty high. I really like it. But this is just really good, and it's different. It's kind of quirky, but it has really good, blade geometry and, good materials. A lot of good things about this knife. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. I just struggled there for a second. It is rocking some green micarta scales, brass pivot collars. Hopefully you guys can see that now. The sunlight's getting a little bit bright, but of course it has a 154 cm Sheelan style blade. Looks kind of like a banana, but nice and thin behind the edge. You don't have too thick of a blade stock, but the blade geometry on this knife is really, really good. Like I said, Nightshade, 154 cm, Vosteed, fully blacked out hardware, black loop over style deep carry clip that goes to the butt end of the knife, lanyard hole right there. The pot clip is not reversible, which I don't know why. You definitely could have stuck a filler tab over there and allowed for lefty carry. Really don't know why they didn't do that. But liner lock, it's on bearings. And for internal milling, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes on the show scale side, and then there is a hole on the liner lock side as well, behind the relief cut, which is nice. Very lightweight knife. They do have shadow box liners, standoffs back here, / back spacers. Like I said, a brass pivot collars on both sides. Yeah, so that's all for materials. So we're going to jump into action next. Now the action on this thing is really, really good. It took a little bit of time to break in. It was kind of like not stiff at first, but more specifically with the closing action. At first, I would fling it open, and then I would, disengage the lock bar the whole way. But instead of dropping like it is now, it would just stay there. It would kind of stick there. So I flicked it for a while, for a couple days, and then I added some KPL to it. I didn't take it apart, but I stuck it on both sides, kind of worked it in. And then about a week or so in, it had really good action, kind of how it is now. But the thumb flick on this knife, I typically like middle finger flicks more than a thumb flick, but for some reason on this knife, the thumb flick just works really, really well. I don't know if it's because you have so much access right there to the hole. It's a beautiful kind of key-shaped hole. I really like how they did that. It looks really, really good and functions phenomenally. But just kind of climb in there, and then it fires right out, and you get a nice ting. The acoustics work really well on this knife, but thumb flick works awesomely. Middle finger flick, you don't have as much space in there. You still have a pretty good amount, and it fires right out of there. No problems at all. Index finger flick, bang. Ring finger flick, bang. And then we're going to try a pinky. Pinky flick. I can never seem to get a pinky. There we go. Pinky flick, bang. So just really good, really snappy. The detent in and out. Like I said, the acoustics are nice and, acoustically, I guess, which you don't really get tings too much on a micarta knife because micarta kind of dampens sound. But very, very nice. Even more noticeable there. Ooh. Now for closing action, like I said, you have a liner lock, plenty of lock bar access. I love how much lock bar access you get there. It's nicely jimped. Just falls to your nail, and then it won't move, so it's not like a guillotine dropper, but some micro shakes will get it home or to your nail, and then bang once, bang, bang. Very, very smooth. And I have not taken this knife apart, but there is no blade play at all. And that's one thing I do also want to talk about Vosteed, more specifically with this and the Raccoon. I can't say too much about the Valkyrie and the Labrador because those are pass run knives, and I'm sure Kevin, because that's who they originated with, they've been taken apart and cleaned and stuff like that. But from the factory, Vosteed and the two knives that I've purchased, the Raccoon and this, they Loctite or tighten their pivots really, really nicely, because I flicked the shit out of the Raccoon. I fidgeted with it a ton, and it never, broke loose. It was always nice and tight. And I have flicked this a ton in the month that I've had it, and there is no blade play, no lock rock, nothing. It is nice and tight, and then you still get that really nice, smooth, clean action. So I just have to applaud them for that, for always getting pivots nice, because sometimes you get knives from factories and from retailers, and you flick it for half an hour, and then your blade, your pivot walks a little bit, and you get blade play. And it's really nice and refreshing when you get knives from companies when they, you can tell that this was hopefully checked before they send it out. So like I said, it's nice and tight, no blade play, and you're still getting that really, nice action. So just something I wanted to point out to you guys, but I really did kind of enjoy that little tidbit of knowledge that I found out through these two knives that I bought. So action is really good. Next up is ergos. Ergos are also really, really good. I stated earlier, it kind of looks like a banana. It just, it's curved the whole way, sort of. It's kind of straight right in here, but it's curved towards the back here. And then the straightness kind of continues out on the blade. And then it gradually grows out and, sort of tapers off here. You have a nice bulbous spear point sort of style blade, or a shillin sort of style blade. I believe it's Japanese or something like that. But the way this is shaped is it fits my hand really, really nicely. You do sort of have a choke up point here that you can kind of use as like a landing choil, but if you're just holding it naturally, you do have jimping right up top here, and it's micro jimping, but it has a nice aggressiveness to it that kind of sticks your finger in there, which is really nice. And this is just the natural grip that I get, and it's very comfortable. The pot clip is not very proud of the knife at all. So I mean, it's actually, I haven't had too many issues yet, but I will say, we'll say that for the pot or for the carry. But there's one thing that I want to talk about with the pot clip, but it sits pretty, flush with the scale, so you can't really feel it too much. It doesn't cause much of a hot spot overall with the knife. The micarta is nicely done. It's not as nice as, like, I just did my 4-view on my Venom Jack from Jack Wolf Knives. That micarta is, superior than this. It has a little bit more softer feel to it, and you can tell it's more premium. But this is still pretty good for the price point. I can't complain too much. I'd say maybe a little bit on the drier side, but it has softened up a little bit with my use of this knife and my carry of this knife. So that provides for a nice texture. And then you can get this choke up point, and then you can get, sorry, I forgot to tell you guys, I can get all 4 fingers on the knife here in the choked up, or the normal position. And then when you sort of choke up, my thumb rides up more on the spine, which is crowned, which is nice, a little bit. Nice flat area for your thumb to rest on. And then I get even more off that pot clip, so I can feel it even less. And I have enough room for probably another finger or 2 back there. So very nice. And the good ergos mixed with this overall blade and handle shape just makes for a phenomenal cutting experience. This blade shape keeps material in it. I've cut some cardboard with it. I've opened, a couple packages with it. Nothing too precise and nothing too hard to use, but the way the blade is shaped when you're pushing through it, how it just tapers off, and you have this nice big belly, it keeps material in it as you're pushing, and it really eats material. Has a nice edge on it. Vosteed did a good job on that. And like I said, it's quirky and it's different looking, but from a utilitarian standpoint and from an actual use case, this thing is really fantastic. It just cuts so well. And I'm not, again, you guys know, I'm not a hard use guy. I don't, beat my knives up. I don't cut a whole lot of crap with them. But just the combination of the ergos with the blade chip make this a really, really dependable cutter and a really, really easy to use cutter, because sometimes you have to watch for your knives of slipping out of materials and stuff like that, but not this one. This one is really, really good in that department, so no complaints at all there. Next up is carry, and I don't have my computer with me, so I can't give I've been starting to give a few more specs with like weight and overall blade length and stuff like that, so I don't know exactly what this weighs, but it's a micarta knife with liners that have plenty of weight reduction to them, so it's pretty lightweight. It carries well, sits out in your pocket there. You do have a little bit of the point sticking up out of your pocket, but that's just the nature of how the handle is shaped. You can't really slide it over too much with the two standoff screws there, as well as the lanyard hole. One thing I don't know, again, I already said this, but I don't know why they couldn't have switched and put a lefty clip on there as well. You could have easily put a filler tab and switched it lefty or righty. That's kind of confusing to me. But the one complaint that I wanted to talk about with the pot clip is it doesn't have too much of a lip right here. So with people with like thicker lined jean pockets that are thicker material and just thicker made, you might have a little bit of problems sticking this over your pocket lip. I haven't yet, just because my jeans are they're standard jeans. They're not super thick. I wear American Eagle jeans. So they go in and out of pocket pretty well, and it sits there. You have no flipper tab or anything like that to, if you're going to be down here getting coins, medicine, chapstick, something like that, you don't have the risk of, popping your knife up out of your pocket as you, come about. The micarta is, nicely rounded. There's no sharp edges or anything like that. So it sits well, carries really well. I had carried this in gym shorts, I think once, and I've carried it around the house numerous times, and it even carries just tossing in the pocket pretty well. So other than it not having a reversible clip, which I don't really get, no complaints at all in the carry department. So that leads me to my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. I'll absolutely recommend this knife, guys. The price point on this one, I believe, was like 72 bucks. I did get it from White Mountain Knives. I don't know what versions are still available. There are, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 different variations of this with different micartas and G10s and different configurations, different combinations. But I'll leave a link to White Mountain Knives below, not specifically to this one. Well, okay, if this is still in stock on White Mountain Knives, I'll leave a link to that. But if not, I'll leave a link to all of the Nightshade THs on there, so you guys can go see it. Some might not be in stock, some might be in stock. Again, not sure. But 72 bucks for this with a 10% code. I use Kevin, Lefty DC's code, Lefty10. I believe this was like a $65 knife, and from the materials you're getting, for the build quality you're getting, the ergonomic experience you're getting with, the ergonomic coupled with the cutting experience, good action, it's just, I really can't say that it's bad at all, or anything bad about it at all. To me, it's, probably my budget knife of the year so far. We'll see at the end of the year what I still think about it, and if anything else comes out by then. But for that price point, for roughly 65 bucks for 154 cm, pretty nice micarta, a nice blade shape, really good action for thumb flick, middle finger flick, hell, even a slow roll. And then again, that geometry and that the way the handle is shaped, so you're getting really good ergos, just all of it put together, really good deal. I really am super glad I have it. It took me a little bit of time to pick one up. I was kind of a late bloomer to the party on it, but better late than never. So I can't recommend it enough. Just a really good cutter, really good price point on the knife, and all around just really good. So Leave a comment down below. What are your guys' thoughts specifically on the Nightshade? And what are your guys' thoughts on Vosteed? Like, do you agree with me? Do you think they're kind of killing it recently with that sort of $50 to $100 price point? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now, guys. I don't want to ramble too long. I'm at 15 minutes. I'm trying to get my reviews a little bit shorter for you guys. But again, links will be in the description down below to White Mountain Knives for the Nightshade, as well as Blue Creek Knives and Barnes Craft Designs. Use my code 814EDC for 10% off of your purchase at Blue Creek Knives and 15% off of your purchase at Barnes Craft Designs. Helps you, helps me, helps Holden, and helps Brian. It is a win-win-win. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. So thank you again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.